I'm Alex, 28 years old, and I've always been the black sheep of the family. Not in the he's always in trouble kind of way. More like the invisible one. The one who didn't quite fit the mold. While my sister Mia was the golden child, perfect grades, perfect hair, perfect smile, I was the quiet kid in the corner, building things, fixing computers, and keeping to myself. Our parents, especially my mom, treated her like the second coming of royalty. And me? Let's just say if I disappeared one day, the family photo wall would suddenly look more symmetrical, as my mom once joked. Yeah, Mia and I were close once. When we were younger, she used to sneak into my room to watch me play games or help me build Lego sets. But as we grew older, she leaned into her role as the perfect daughter, while I didn't. She joined cheerleading, started dating the quarterback, and began hosting these ridiculous themed birthday parties that felt like reality show auditions. I stuck to myself, got good with tech, and eventually built a small but steady freelancing gig fixing security systems and building networks for local businesses. The divide got bigger after college. I didn't go, couldn't afford it, didn't want to really. Mia went to some fancy out-of-state university and came back even more polished and distant. Family gatherings became a parade of her accomplishments, while I was asked to help with the lights or go park the car. Dad wasn't cruel about it. He was just absent, worked too much, said too little. Mom, on the other hand, made it clear one child was a success story, the other was a footnote. So when I found out Mia was getting married, I wasn't exactly expecting an invitation, and I didn't get one. The whole thing was announced on Facebook with filtered engagement photos and hashtags like #Mia and Brad Forever. She didn't call. No one did. I found out from our cousin Katie, who sent me a screenshot of the post along with a text that said, "You going?" I didn't respond. What was there to say? For a few months, I forgot about it. Buried myself in work. Installed a system in a high school. Cleaned malware from a law office's servers. But the wedding kept popping up. My mom started posting pictures from the planning phase. Dress fittings. Cake tastings. Her captions were glowing. "My beautiful girl deserves the world." Not once did she mention me. Katie kept me updated, like a friend whispering gossip during a movie. Apparently, Mia's guest list had ballooned to 200. High-end venue. Flower walls. Custom cocktails named after the bride and groom. A live band. A magician. A magician. Who even does that? Then came the part that flipped a switch in me. Katie texted me a picture. It was a wedding favor. A small, elegant envelope with gold script. Inside, a card. Each guest was getting a personalized message from the bride and groom. I was curious. It seemed over the top, but fine. Until Katie told me what mine said. Unwanted guest. At first, I thought it was a joke. Maybe someone made it up. But no. She snapped a second photo. The envelope had my full name printed on it. And inside, in elegant cursive, "To our unwanted guest, enjoy the party while it lasts." No smiley face. No irony. I stared at it for a long time. I didn't understand. I hadn't RSVP'd. I hadn't even been invited. Why go out of their way to include me in a wedding I wasn't attending just to humiliate me? Something inside me snapped. Not in an explosive, throw things around way. It was quieter. Cold. The way you feel when someone slaps you across the face in public and everyone laughs. So I made a decision. I was going to the wedding. And I wasn't going empty-handed. See, what Mia, and frankly most of my family, forgot was that I see things. Not just the ones people post on social media. I know how to look deeper, how to follow threads, how to uncover things you wish stayed buried. I'd been hired more than once to recover deleted files, track data leaks, or, occasionally, help suspicious spouses figure out if their partners were hiding something. I was good at it, quiet about it, and right now, I was motivated. It didn't take long. A few emails, a forgotten cloud backup, a Dropbox account left synced on an old phone, and there it was, a neatly organized folder labeled personal. Inside, secrets, chats, screenshots, photos. Turns out Mia wasn't as perfect as everyone thought. Not even close. I'm not talking about little things. I mean full-on betrayals. She'd cheated on Brad, twice. Once with his cousin, and once with her ex from college. There were screenshots of her bragging about it to friends. One read, "Brad's nice but boring. I deserve someone who excites me." There were chats mocking his family, his looks, even his proposal. She said yes because of the ring. It made me sick. I stared at that folder for hours. Not because I was conflicted, but because I realized just how much effort she'd put into crafting this fake image, this lie everyone else bought into, and how easily she threw me under the bus for fun, for drama, to get a rise out of the weird brother. That's when the plan started forming. I wouldn't confront her, wouldn't scream, wouldn't beg to be seen. I'd show up, and I'd let her do the rest. The day of the wedding, I dressed the part. Black suit, clean shave, no frills. I walked into the venue like I belonged. No one stopped me. My name was on the list, after all. She made sure of it. The place was gorgeous. Chandeliers, flowers that probably cost more than my car. A string quartet played something fancy in the background. People mingled, laughed, took selfies by the fountain. I kept my head down, moved through the crowd. Some people recognized me. An aunt waved awkwardly. A cousin smiled, then quickly turned away. No one approached, which was perfect. The reception began, and that's when I saw it. The cards. Each guest had a place setting with their little envelope, their personalized message. Mine was waiting for me at the far end of a table, like a trap. I picked it up. Read it again. To our unwanted guest, enjoy the party while it lasts. I smiled, reached into my pocket, and pulled out a small, silver USB drive. It had one file. Just one. A short video, 2 minutes long, set to play automatically. A slideshow, really. Screenshots. Messages. Photos. Labeled clearly. Mia, the truth. I made my way to the cake. The band was still playing. People were lining up for speeches. I slipped the USB into the projector's laptop behind the main table, one I'd seen earlier when I scoped out the venue. Simple setup. No password. No tech guy watching. Just a click away from a screen takeover. Then I turned, walked calmly to the cake, set the USB on the frosting, right beside the bride and groom figurine, and walked out. 30 minutes later, I was halfway home when my phone started buzzing. Then it lit up. Over and over. Calls. Texts. Voicemails. Katie was the first to call. She didn't say hello. She just whispered, "Alex, what did you do?" I didn't answer Katie right away. Just let the phone ring out. I was driving, my hands stiff on the wheel, my heart still pounding from what I'd just done. Not from fear. No, that had passed a long time ago. It was something else. A quiet release. Like after holding your breath underwater for too long and finally breaking the surface. The notifications kept coming. What is this? Dude, she's losing her mind. Mom's hysterical. Dad's just sitting there. Where are you? By the time I pulled into my apartment complex, there were 37 missed calls and 11 voicemails. Most from unknown numbers. One from my dad, which was rare enough to make me pause. I didn't listen. I just slid the phone into a drawer and sat down at my kitchen table, staring at the wall. I should have felt triumphant. But the quiet settled in fast. You spend your whole life wanting to be seen, and then, the second you are, it feels heavy. I didn't sleep much that night. Not out of guilt, just anticipation. I knew this wasn't over. This kind of truth doesn't just land and disappear. It festers, especially in a family like mine, where appearances are more valuable than actual relationships. Mia's whole world was built on a pedestal made of perception, and I had just kicked one of the legs out from under it. The next morning, I checked my phone again. One new voicemail. This one was from Mia. I didn't recognize her voice at first. She sounded different. Shaky, desperate, but still angry in that way she always got when she couldn't control the narrative. "You think you're clever? You think that was funny? You ruined everything. I hope you're happy, Alex. It's over between us. Don't come near me. Don't come near my house. Don't even breathe in my direction." The following days were a blur of chaos that I wasn't directly involved in, but got to witness through the cracks. Katie was my only real window into the fallout. She started sending me updates like she was reporting from the front lines. Brad's gone. Took his stuff. Canceled the honeymoon. His parents are furious. Apparently, they had suspicions already. Mia's locked in her room. Mom's trying to spin this like you hacked her. That last one made me laugh. Of course she was. It didn't take long for Mom to start damage control. I knew her tactics well. She'd use words like malicious, unstable, jealous. Try to paint me as the resentful brother who couldn't handle his sister's success. It worked on some people. A few distant relatives posted vague Facebook statuses about family betrayal and keeping toxic people away from your big day. I didn't respond, but I did log into a burner account and scroll through the comments on Mia's now-locked Instagram profile. One post from the wedding was still up, a black and white photo of her and Brad before the meltdown. Her caption had originally read, "The happiest day of my life." But someone had edited it after the event. Now it just said, "And the comments? Savage." People were asking what happened. Someone claimed to have seen the video. One girl wrote, "You fooled us all, Mia." A week passed, then two, and then came the letter, handwritten, on thick cream paper. No return address, but I recognized my father's handwriting instantly. I hadn't heard from him directly in years. Not like this. It was short, just a few lines. "Alex, I don't agree with what you did, but I also can't pretend I didn't know. Your sister made her choices. You made yours. Be careful." Dad, that was it. No signature. No apology. Just a neutral, cryptic note that somehow said everything and nothing. I folded it and placed it in the drawer with the USB I'd retrieved later from the venue. Not that it mattered. The video had already done its job. It was out there. A few weeks later, I saw Mia in person. It was at our cousin Ellie's baby shower. I hadn't planned to go, but Katie begged me. Said she didn't want to deal with the tension alone. So I showed up. Quiet. Low profile. Mia was already there, standing near the food table, pretending to listen to some distant aunt's story. Her hair was perfect, as always. Her dress probably cost more than my rent. But her face was tired. Hollow. She saw me the moment I walked in. Her jaw clenched. She didn't move. Neither did I. There was a brief silence between us. Just long enough to feel like the room got colder. Then she turned away. Didn't say a word. Didn't have to. The damage was done. But what no one knew, not yet, was that the video I played at the wedding, it wasn't everything. It was just enough. Just a teaser. A carefully crafted glimpse. Because the real story, the one that could shatter more than a marriage, I was still holding that close. Still deciding whether I was ready to drop the rest. And that's when something unexpected happened. An email. From Brad. I stared at the subject line for a good 5 minutes. "We need to talk." Short. Vague. Heavy with implications. A phrase that rarely means anything good. I hovered over the email, debating whether to open it. Part of me didn't want to. I wasn't in the mood for another angry message, another person telling me I'd gone too far or wrecked something beautiful. But curiosity got the better of me. I clicked. The message was surprisingly short. "Hey Alex, I know you probably weren't expecting to hear from me. Honestly, I didn't think I'd ever be sending this. But I need to ask you something. Did you find anything else? I'm not asking because I want to make things worse. I'm asking because something doesn't add up. If you're willing to talk, let me know. I'll meet you wherever." Brad, no threats. No accusations. Just a straight-up question. That surprised me. I thought about ignoring it. I really did. I didn't owe him anything. But then again, this guy almost married me. He deserved to know what he walked away from, why he walked away. So I wrote back. "Hey, I did. I'll tell you everything, but not over email. Meet me at Orion Cafe on 9th, tomorrow, 3 p.m. Alex. The next day, I got there early. The Orion Cafe was quiet, tucked between a bookstore and a closed-down vape shop. One of those cozy places with old wood tables and soft indie music playing low in the background. I sat at the far end, by the window, nursing a black coffee and replaying everything in my head. The wedding, the USB, the fallout, and now this. Brad arrived 10 minutes late. He looked worse than I expected. Tired. I sunk in. His usual preppy haircut had grown out slightly, and he was wearing a hoodie and jeans completely different from the polished fiancé version of him I remembered. "Hey," he said, sliding into the chair across from me. "Hey," I replied. No handshakes. No small talk. He took a breath, rubbed the back of his neck. "So, you said you found more." "I did," I said, pulling a flash drive from my pocket and placing it on the table. He stared at it like it was ticking. "Before I show you," I said slowly, "you need to know something. I didn't go looking for this out of spite. Your name just kept showing up." His brows knit. "In what?" I leaned back, measuring him. "How much do you know about her past relationships?" Brad looked down. "I know about the guy from college. I didn't know about his cousin until your little wedding gift." He looked up, eyes narrowing. "But there's more, isn't there?" I slid the drive across the table. "Everything's on here. The backups, the messages, the calls. She didn't delete them properly. It's all dated and time-stamped." He didn't touch it. "What does it say?" he asked. I hesitated. "You sure you want to know?" He let out a dry laugh. "I left her, Alex. My family's mad. Her family's mad. The vendors are still trying to collect final payments, and I'm getting messages from people I barely know asking if I'm okay. I deserve to know. I nodded. She lied to you. Not just about the cheating. About everything. She forged financial documents for a joint loan. Took out a line of credit under your name before the wedding. Bought dresses, spa treatments, even made a down payment on a trip for her and her ex. All while telling you she was saving for the future. Brad's face went pale. No. I checked my accounts. I would have seen that. She used your backup email. The one linked to your college bank account. Still had access to it. She changed the notification settings. I have proof. He looked like someone had gut-punched him. For a second, I thought he might be sick right there in the cafe. Then he pushed the drive off to the side. I don't even care about the money anymore, he muttered. I just wanted to believe someone could actually love me without lying to my face. Silence hung between us. I didn't know what to say. For once, I wasn't the one being dismissed, or ignored, or gaslit. I was the one holding the truth, and someone was actually listening. He leaned forward. Why'd you do it? He asked. You could have just not come. Could have watched the whole thing implode from a distance. Why show up at all? I looked out the window. For years, I've been invisible to my own family. They wrote me off. Made me feel like a burden. Like background noise. Mia made it personal. That card she left me? It wasn't just a joke. It was her way of telling me she still had the power. That no matter what, I'd always be beneath her. I turned back to him. So I reminded her that I exist. That I see things. And that sometimes, the quiet ones are the ones you should be afraid of. He sat back, processing. After a long pause, he said, I'm pressing charges. I'm not letting her get away with this. I figured, I said. If you need a witness, or the files, you have my number. He nodded slowly. Picked up the flash drive. Thanks, Alex. We didn't shake hands. We didn't make plans to hang out. He just walked out of the cafe, shoulders a little straighter, head a little higher. I watched him go. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like a footnote. But this wasn't the end. Because I got another message that night. Not from Brad. Not from Katie. Not even from Mia. It was from my mother. We need to talk. Come to the house. Tomorrow. 7 p.m. No excuses. And something in my gut told me. She didn't want to talk. She wanted to fight. I sat in my car outside my childhood home. Engine off. Lights dimmed. The driveway looked the same as always, fresh concrete patches from when Dad tried to improve the property 5 years ago. Mom's garden in perfectly trimmed rows. Wind chimes tapping gently under the porch light. But something about it all felt fake now. Or maybe it always had. I hadn't been back in years. Not for holidays, not for birthdays. Mia got all that. I got a text, if anyone remembered. And now, after everything, after I exposed the golden child and tore open the facade they spent years perfecting, they wanted to chat. I already knew how this was going to go. I didn't bring the flash drive. I didn't need it. I had backups. Several. This wasn't about proving anything anymore. This was about standing my ground. I walked up the steps and rang the bell. A few seconds later, the door opened. Mom stood there, arms crossed, jaw tight. She looked like she'd aged a decade in 2 weeks. Still in her pearls, her perfect little sweater set. Still trying to play queen of a crumbling castle. Come in, she said. No smile. Not even a flicker of warmth. Dad was already seated in the living room. TV off. Fire on. He gave me a nod, neutral, careful. Like he was here under duress. Mia wasn't there. That was the first surprise. Where is she? I asked. She's staying at a friend's, Mom said coldly. Not that it's any of your concern. I didn't sit. Just stood near the entryway, arms folded, waiting. You embarrassed this family, she started, pacing slowly like a disappointed teacher. You humiliated your sister in front of 200 people. Do you know how much damage control I've had to do? I'm not responsible for her lies, I said, keeping my voice calm. She did that to herself? She made a few mistakes, she snapped. We all do. But you brought shame into our home. You showed the world our dirty laundry. There it was. Our dirty laundry. As if I had revealed family secrets instead of Mia's personal deceptions. As if I had betrayed them. I turned to Dad. You agree with this? He didn't answer right away. Just looked at the fire. It wasn't the right time or place, he muttered. I shook my head. There never is there? Not for people like me. You all would have let her marry that guy, lie to his face, and keep up her act, just to keep the illusion going. Mom's voice rose. We did what we had to do to protect her. And I was disposable, right? My voice sharpened now. I was always the problem. The disappointment. You ignored me for years, but the second I speak up, I'm the villain. Silence. Why did you come then? Mom asked, lifting her chin. If you knew this would only bring pain, why show up at all? Because someone needed to tell the truth, I said. And I'm done letting this family pretend that truth is optional. She looked at me like I'd slapped her. But she didn't argue. For the first time in my life, my words stuck. I took a step forward. You don't get to erase me anymore. I'm not here for your approval. I came to tell you this to your face, so you know I'm not afraid of you. Or Mia. Or this twisted version of family you've been trying to maintain. Dad stood up, slowly. That's enough. No, I said firmly. That's enough. I'm done being polite. I'm done being quiet. You can either accept that I'm part of this family, with a voice, or you can keep pretending I don't exist. But I'm not going to play along anymore. I turned to leave. My hand was already on the door when Mom said, "You'll regret this." I paused, then looked over my shoulder. No, I said. For the first time, I won't. And I walked out. The air hit me like a reset button. It wasn't some movie ending. There was no hug, no apology, no dramatic realization. But I didn't need any of that. I had done what I came to do. I'd exposed the truth, stood my ground, and finally said everything I'd been swallowing for years. Not for them, but for me. A week later, I got a call from Brad. He pressed charges. Fraud, identity theft, even evidence of embezzlement. Mia was facing a real investigation. There was no hiding anymore. The wedding was officially annulled. The vendors started suing for unpaid balances. The story got out, small at first, whispers among family friends. Then bigger, public. Mom tried to spin it, of course. Said Mia had a nervous breakdown, that it was all a misunderstanding. But people weren't buying it anymore. As for me, I went back to my work. Quietly, steadily. But I wasn't invisible now. Not to myself. Not to the people who mattered. Katie started inviting me to more events, and people actually talked to me. Some apologized. Most didn't. But I wasn't doing it for their closure. The truth is, revenge wasn't the goal. Freedom was. And I finally had it. Mia? She lost the mask she lived behind. Me? I found my voice. And I'll never let them silence it again.